guys ready for a fun interview? I might throw some energy out there. May have to ask you guys to clap. Everybody, is that okay? Yeah. Could I ask you to clap? It'll be all good? All right.
Okay. Absolutely.
That's right. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon. I'm Stuntman Steve from West Coast Authentic, Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. West Coast Authentic is the place to be because you know what happens? You bring people like this guy in. Mr. Mike Bossy, number 22. Let's hear it. Come on! I thought you were going to leave me hanging there. Man, you still have a grip. Honest to goodness. When's the last time you quit?
There's only one way I know how to shake a hand, and that's
but
with a little bit of...
Yeah, but that's where the force, that's where that gunshot of a shot, the puck would go in.
There's nothing left there anymore. I get it from lifting my granddaughters up. That's
so
the only exercise that I do. 2 granddaughters, 8 soon, and 4.5.
So what do they call you? They call you
Pappy.
the great one or the Pappy or what?
Pappy.
Yeah, you're a great guy. Hey, listen, you were doing some signings. You were seeing some of your fans here. We're gonna get back to some more signings. It's such a nice feeling, I guess, you know, to see young and old, and then people bringing these like, here's some old cards. What does that reflect when you look up at your career? And
you know, honestly, I'm always humbled when someone comes and asks me for my autograph. It's funny. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and I was telling her that I was coming to Kelowna to sign autographs, and she says, "That's ridiculous." And in the end, I guess it is a little ridiculous, and that's why I say I'm humbled when people, you know, watched me play, were that enthralled about my play that they come and ask me for my autograph. It's always nice and always appreciated.
Well, even an old broadcaster like myself who's put on some pounds, I'm even humbled just to be near you. And as I was doing my research on you, you know, everyone knows Mike Bossy. Everybody knows number 22, New York Islanders. Everybody knows that. But some of the stats and some of the numbers and stuff like that are just absolutely mind-blowing to me. And then as I got in more into researching it and looking up some old interviews and calling on some of my media buddies from across the country, you know, there's a certain theme that comes to it all the time. Everyone talks about the 50 and 9 games and 50 the first time, and you know your idol Robert Sharp, and what a thrill that was to break that record. But you really are a gentleman's gentleman on and off the ice. And I think Trache said it best when he said, because you and him were roommates, right?
Yep, roommates, teammates, line mates, roommates. Yeah,
but there was one year that they almost broke you up as roommates. Is that right?
Well, they tried to. Well, actually, Al Arbor retired after my 9th season, and Terry Simpson came on to coach, and I guess he wanted to change things up, or tried to change things up anyway. So he tried to separate Brian and myself when we went on the first road trip, but I guess we were a little naughty and switched keys with the roommates that he'd given me out to, and went back and roomed together. We figured we'd had 9 years together and we're pretty successful, so we didn't want a chance not starting that 10th season off together.
Well, that's what I mean, and then that transferred on to the ice because he seemed to always know where to place the puck out. When he was working in the boards, he would shoot that puck out to you, and then of course he would just shoot it, and everyone would say, "Well, he'll pick the top right, or he'll pick the top left, or he'll pick the bottom on the bottom." But
well, you know, Brian, it's funny, but you know, Brian never did anything haphazardly. He knew. He always had a good view of the ice. And, you know, we had great chemistry together. You know, I always used to tell Brian, if you see my stick, then you can pass me the puck, and I'll figure a way to get a shot away. So
what a shot it was.
We had great chemistry. We loved playing with each other, and you know, I think above all, we both wanted to be successful, and when you have guys who want to be successful and know how to manage that at the same time and want the other guy to be successful, then you know that's how we were able to play so well together and to be successful as individuals as well as teammates as a team.
I have to tell you, there was a funny part. Your GM. Your first GM.
Bill Torrey?
Yeah, Bill said a funny story, and I want you to see if this is true or not. I think it might be true, just because getting to know you now. Did you go in there and saying about your contract, and then you negotiate, and the numbers weren't quite at the level that you were hoping for, and you said something to the fact of, I'm going to score 50 and 50.
Well, not 50 and 50. We were sitting down, and obviously, yes, the first offer that they'd made wasn't anywhere near what I was anticipating. And I remember my agent looking at me before the meeting with Tori and saying, we gotta say something that's going to make him react. And I said, well, tell him I'll get 50 goals next year. My first season.
Rookie.
And we were sitting down, and he looked at me and said, Mike, he says, what do you think you can accomplish with the Islanders? And I said, I think I can get 50 goals next year. And he looked at me and started laughing. And it was quite funny, actually, when I thought of it afterwards. But
you're a ballsy guy.
I wanted to be bold. I wanted to look confident, and I actually ended up getting 53 my first year. So I made that prediction come true.
You sure
never made anywhere near the kind of money that I should have for someone who scored 50 goals.
But you're not holding that still to this day.
Oh, no,
of course not. There you go. Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But let's talk about that 53 really quickly. Okay, so tremendous pressure. Tremendous pressure. You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, tremendous pressure on this athlete to achieve that within the 50 games. So we're coming down the wire now, and we're at how many goals? And here we are at goal 48, right? And you're.
Well, I had 48 after 47 games.
Right.
Didn't score.
So first period, when I went to say the first period of that game.
Yeah, well, I didn't score in 48 and didn't score in 49. Won in the game in Detroit, at home against Calgary, and ended up getting the 50th game going against the Quebec Nordiques. And what was special going up against the Nordiques was that it was obviously a team from the same province that I grew up in. Same coach that I played against in junior hockey, and they had this guy who covered me on that day. I mean, anytime
was it Cote?
Alain Cote. Anytime we played against the Quebec Nordiques, it was always one of Michel Bergeron's mandates not to have me score, and that going back to when I played junior against them. So I knew that game was going to be tough, and it turned out to be just that. Didn't score in the first period, didn't score in the second period, and I really thought that the chase for 50 was over. And what was a little ironic about the whole thing is that Charlie Simmer played that afternoon against the Boston Bruins, and he was chasing 50 and 52 and ended up getting 2 goals in that game and had 49 goals. So I went into the third period thinking that not only was I not going to get 50 and 50, but I wasn't even going to get as many as Charlie Simmer in 50. And then there's things happened like they usually did.
I was watching some of the footage of some of those goals. Like that was unbelievable.
Power play
near
the end of the third period. I think there's like 5 or so minutes left. And I got a rebound cruising up front of the net, and then a couple of minutes later, Brian and John Tonelli broke up play by the Nordiques trying to come out of their own end, and Brian saw me on the left hand top of the circle and passed the puck over, and it was 15-50. So it was it ended quite dramatically and very different to the way that I thought it was going to end at the end of the second period.
I was going to tell you, watching the footage of when you actually, the emotion erupted because the pressure was released, and you leaped. You probably remember this. You leaped up, and your legs were like this, and as you were running, then you hit the ice and started doing that. So it was kind of like a Yogi Bear thing. It was happening.
Because I get mimicked a lot about that celebration, and people that the younger players today, they say, "Oh, yeah, that was a nice celebration." Goal celebration. I said, no, I didn't do that all the time. It was kind of a special moment.
It was, and then you know what? To have the world and hockey fans share that with you, and then to repeat it 9, like that's amazing. That is truly amazing, and 4 Stanley Cups.
Uh-huh.
So I gotta ask you something. I mean, like I said, I've had pleasure with some great athletes with different rings. Where does Mike keep his rings?
Safety deposit.
Is it ever out on a special occasion? Like, was there an anniversary or a wedding or a birth or something? Something, you know what I mean? Like, something. Have you ever brought it out? Because you're very modest, I seem.
If someone absolutely wants me to bring a ring, I'll go get it. But I don't wear jewelry. I'm not comfortable wearing the rings when I go out, just because they're a little gaudy looking, and they're fine where they are. I know where they are. That's the most important thing.
So you're modest from head to toe. In other words, not only your personality, but also how you dress. You're just very, very laid back, casual. You would fit right here in the Okanagan. You would fit right here in the Okanagan. We would love to have you. If you ever decide that you and the family want to move from Montreal and Montreal's home. Right?
Yes, Montreal's home.
So do I dare say that you're 60 years old?
Yes, I'm 60 years old, and I look every bit of it. And I feel every bit of it also.
So before I go, just two more questions, and I'll wrap it up. Again, doing the research and stuff like that, it's amazing to hear rookies, NHL players, and retired NHL players talk about how you position your stick to the puck. And I don't know if you know this, but you've been getting some really incredible praises about how your hands are quicker than your eyes. That's the NHL talk about that, and how you position the puck and and the stick all within moments. So this is all happening mechanically in your hands without you even looking. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I never really put any thought, or I never thought of any technical aspect of when I was shooting. My mindset when I got to the National Hockey League was that I have to shoot the puck as quick as I can, because I knew the game was a lot faster than junior hockey. So did I have a special knack for knowing where the net was, and trying to anticipate goalie movement, and I wasn't a very big corner picker on my shots. I scored a lot of goals, 5-hole. Just the quick release was something that I knew that I had to achieve to be successful, and it worked.
Did it ever work? And I mean, there's a lot of goalies that are retired now, and they look back and they go, "Oh my God, where did that go?" And like you said, in between the legs, so it could be in the upper parts, the lower parts. You just had a massive range and just a rocket of a shot. But it's nice to know and hear from other NHL players, both past and present, that that's you're known for